Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Knott County is a dry county vote after a decisive vote determined the outcome. And a Commonwealth attorney position will be filled by someone new for the first time since 1993.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're just past 5:30 this Wednesday morning. Let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
Good morning, Madison. Good morning, everyone. You can see even in the night vision mode some of the cloud cover issues we've been contending with over the last couple of hours, and it is 63 degrees outside our door here at WYMT. It is 70 at Prestonsburg, 69 in London, 63. Good morning to you at Harlan, and mid-60s as you make your way to the north up at Ashland. All right, here are the waves of clouds moving across the region. Look back toward Louisville here. A few showers, Louisville along the Ohio River, also along 64, tracking in toward Lexington, and may see a shower get down toward Richmond and extend over toward Moorhead, not only this morning, but also again this afternoon. Not a washout by any means, and it's basically nuisance stuff where you get hit with a few drops, and that's about it. For today, we average out to being partly sunny and a high today in Hazard up to 84. More about your First Alert 7-day forecast coming up in just a few moments. Madison?
Tim, thank you. Now for some election results from Eastern Kentucky and more. First, it was a measure that has been on the ballot 3 times before, but the 4th time is the charm. Knott Countyans voted to make the county wet yesterday. Some voters told WYMT alcohol sales going to surrounding counties were hurting the Knott County economy. Others say they were opposed to the change because of its potential impact on small businesses. Before all of the votes were in, Knott County Clerk Reese Cornett said there would be a specific procedure if the measure passed.
If it goes wet, they will have to apply for license, and that will have to go through the License Bureau, Alcohol License Bureau, and I've already spoke to them, and they said they can get up to 6 licenses in this county, and I was surprised about that.
The final votes were 1,447 people in Knott County voted to go wet. 995 voted no. Al Cross reported on KET last night there are only 4 completely dry counties left in Kentucky: Leslie, Menifee, Elliott, and Clinton. Somerset City Council now has 2 new members. Mike Honeycutt will fill the 3rd ward seat and Jerry Girdler will fill the 5th ward seat. Somerset Mayor Alan Keck says with the progress the city has made in the last few years, he is looking for the next council members to share the passion of continuing that trajectory. Mike Honeycutt won with 429 votes, or 35%. Brennan Wilden followed in second with 341 votes. Brent Fleming had 272 votes, and Barbara Beckman had 181 votes. Jerry Girdler won with 617 votes, or 51%. Margaret Dick had 381 votes, and Jeanette Highslope had 214 votes. A Commonwealth's attorney for more than 3 decades was defeated last night. Voters in Clay, Jackson, and Leslie counties picked First Assistant Clay County Attorney Haley Jo Fields over Gary Gregory. Gregory has held that position in the 41st Circuit since 1993.
I was getting the results on my phone as I stood there, and I was almost in tears, just so excited about all 3 counties being aligned. Because from the start, this was never an issue of just Clay County. Clay is the bigger of the 3 counties, but the issues were not just in Clay County. There were possibly even more issues in Leslie and Jackson that needed addressed. So I'm very relieved that they also recognize those issues and want those changed.
Fields will face Democrat Jake Roberts in November. Republican Haley Jo Fields won with 3,301 votes, or 61% of the vote. Gary Gregory finished with 2,058 votes. In Bell County, Mike Taylor won the 44th Circuit Commonwealth's attorney race over incumbent Lisa Fugit. Taylor says some of the most pressing issues facing Bell County is its jail system and how it processes some cases. Following his victory, Taylor also talked with us about the work to be done and what he is doing in the community right now.
We're talking to people and we want to hear what they have to say. Yes, I think that's very important. They should know what's going on and have an input into what's being done.
Republican Mike Taylor finished with 1,509 votes, or 67% of the vote. Republican Lisa Fugit had 744 votes. In the 6th District congressional race, 5 Democrats battled for the opportunity to take on incumbent Andy Barr in November. It looks like Randy Cravens is going to squeeze out the win over Todd Kelly, Shauna Rudd, Jonathan Richardson, and Don Pratt. Cravens is an IT manager from Richmond who was endorsed by the Lexington Herald-Leader. Incumbent Representative Tom Odell Smith has won his race for re-election in the 86th District. Smith defeated Billy Taylor to win the race for Knox County and part of Laurel County. Smith says he wants to get back to Frankfort and continue fighting for the people he serves and for the Commonwealth as a whole.
I've worked hard for them, and they showed me back tonight that they appreciated it. And we've got a game plan going into the summer and into next year that I feel like now we can start concentrating on that.
Smith says he is thankful for his people of Knox and Laurel counties for continuing to believe in his work. There is no Democrat running in this race. Smith will not have an opponent in November. Tory Smith won with 2,913 votes. Billy Taylor had 1,710 votes. Eastern Kentucky Representative Timmy Truitt will be heading back to Frankfort. Truitt won against Idalia Holland in the Republican primary for the seat that serves Jackson, Lee, Wolfe, and part of Laurel and Madison counties. He says he is thankful for those who voted for him and is happy to get back to Frankfort.
To know that this election cycle is finished and my people came out to support me, it's just a great feeling. Committee meetings start next month, so it's one of those things that, as representative and then being a part-time legislator, there's no such thing as part-time legislator. You're working every day.
Truitt says he is also thankful for a clean race against his opponent. Holland provided a statement saying, in part, "I am humbly grateful to have had the opportunity to meet so many good, humble people. It's been an amazing experience. Thank you for your support," end quote. Timmy Truitt won with 3,018 votes, or 89% of the vote. Idalia Holland had 374 votes. The Republican nominee in the 95th District State Representative race has been selected. Brandon Spencer secured the nomination with 67% of the votes, defeating David Pennington as the Republican choice to run against incumbent Ashley Tackett Lafferty this fall. The position serves Floyd County and part of Pike County, and though Spencer was unavailable for an interview, he shared a statement about his victory yesterday, saying, quote, "My friends, I cannot express just how honored I am to have been chosen to take our Republican ideas to the general election. Your vote of confidence is truly humbling. I also want to thank my opponent for participating in this process, and I wish him well in his future endeavors." This November, you will have a choice to put your 95th District representative in the Republican supermajority or send a Democrat back, and ultimately suffer the same lack of funding that currently plagues us, end quote. Brandon Spencer won with 967 votes, or 67%. David Pennington had 478 votes. Less than an hour after polls closed, Congressman Hal Rogers was declared the winner in the 5th District. He had 3 Republican opponents. No Democrats filed. WYMT's Jack Demler has more from the candidates.
A 23rd term representing the people of Eastern Kentucky on a national level.
But the people of this area have been so kind to me, undeserved.
With a plan to accomplish more.
My gosh, we've got problems. the country needs some direction.
During Kentucky's 2024 primary election, Congressman Hal Rogers won the congressional seat for the 5th District. A decision David Krafchak says might have been influenced by the name.
For our district here with Hal, it's just another term, but it's, you know, it's people, I feel that it's kind of checking a name that they know.
A sentiment of disappointment shared by other candidates. In a statement, Dana Edwards shares, quote, "It saddens me how the people of Eastern Kentucky continue to elect this ineffective career professional politician who has never and will never help us become more economically successful." But for Hal Rogers, he says the 23rd term is one centered around building the economy of Eastern Kentucky.
Well, it has to be jobs to try to keep our people at home. That's been the history of our region over the decades.
Rogers says in order to increase the number of jobs, it boils down to land and people. In a statement released after the race had been called, Rogers said, quote, "We are overcoming longtime challenges in our region, including driving down overdose death rates, rebuilding stronger communities after the deadly Eastern Kentucky flood, creating new opportunities in our coal communities, and helping our next generation realize the American dream and accomplish greater things than we have ever imagined," end quote. Rogers was named Dean of the U.S. House in 2022 and has served on the House Appropriations Committee for more than 40 years. In Pulaski and Laurel counties, Jack Demler, WYMT, Mountain News.
Congressman Hal Rogers won with 39,423 votes, or 82% of the vote. Dana Edwards followed with 5,112 votes. Brandon McCollin had 2,673 votes, and David Krafchak had 997 votes. No surprises in the presidential race in Kentucky. On the Republican side, a huge win for former President Donald Trump, who received 85% of the vote. Nikki Haley, the only candidate that's dropped out that has not endorsed Trump, only got 6% of the vote, and 4% voted uncommitted. Chris Christie and Vivek Ramaswamy only had 1% of the vote. On the Democratic side, President Joe Biden wins about 71% of the vote. A bit of a concern for the president in the fall might be that 18% of Democrats voted uncommitted.